Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay? Every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Art Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.
Hey, this is Tyler Jones, and you're listening to another Big Buck Breakdown from the Element Podcast. What's happening, all my woods people? Currently, I am feeling a little bit sluggish. It is midday, it is sunny, and we just ate some gigantic lunches.
We did. We ate some big old mountain houses for lunch. Both breakfast blends. Something about that, man. I think we've decided that breakfast is really where it's at on Mountain
Breakfast
House.
for lunch, man.
Yeah, we usually call that Brenner around my place.
Brenner?
Breakfast dinner, Brenner.
Haven't you had some arguments with Pop and Nanny about
Something about the elderly, they think that dinner is at noon, and dinner, in my opinion, is in the evening time.
So we just had dinner in their opinion, but we had lunch in our opinion, and 2 breakfasts that were really good, Mountain House. And so they're like was yours 2 servings? Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine was 2 servings, and so we're stuffed. But we got a Big Buck Breakdown today, as you heard, and the guy that we're interviewing is Trent Siegle. We have had him on the podcast before. You need to go back and listen to it because it's really cool, and it came on the heels of a gigantic buck that he harvested. Mm-hmm. Was that last year? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah. And so, go back and listen to that. I believe it's episode 25. Not 100%, but you can check me on that. Fact check me, correct me if I'm wrong. And today, Trent is going to be talking about another monster buck that he has put on the ground, and this one came from Wyoming. So pretty exciting story. We happen to be in Trent's home state right now, sitting on the side of a dirt road and just relaxing. We're going to hit the road here pretty quick and get back on the game, man. We've been in a little action, haven't we?
We have in fact had a few monster buck encounters.
Monster for us.
Saw a really big one day. Had some stalks, like Western style. Had some Eastern style hunts. Mm-hmm. Been pretty successful, I'd say. Yeah,
it's been a successful trip so far. So we will talk more about that on Thursday on the main show, the long format show. Until then, let's hear from Trent. How about?
Sounds good.
All right, so now on the phone we have Trent Siegle from Heartland Bowhunter. What's happening, Trent?
Hey, not much. How are you guys?
Doing good, well. Doing well, man. KC's a little hungry because he hunted this morning, and it's lunchtime. But
all I ate was an apple for breakfast, and I'm starving to death. But
oh man,
you're supposed to hunt hungry, right? So that's how I feel right now.
Yeah. So anyway, and I'm going this afternoon, so I'm pretty excited. As long as my clothes dry out. But anyway, you had a good opening part of your season this year, man. You kicked off the Heartland Bowhunter crew with the first whitetail. Is that right?
Yeah. I had an awesome trip out to Wyoming, northeastern Wyoming, and it's crazy the deer numbers out there and just the scenery. It's always a trip that I look forward to.
Yeah. Lay out the terrain there for us. What does it look like out there?
Man, where we hunt, there's actually a lot of topography, a lot of kind of what I would consider like big kind of bluffs with lots of terrain changing, and then down in the bottoms, there's some ag fields like alfalfa, and then pines just everywhere. And we were hunting on some stuff that had been cut, like harvested, and so it was real cool. It wasn't super thick, and you could see the deer coming from a long ways away. But it's awesome out there. I mean, if I could move the family there, I would in a heartbeat.
Really?
Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just deer and turkeys galore, and then just everything else that Wyoming has to offer. It's a game rich environment, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I was there. I was in Wyoming this summer. It's my first time to go to Yellowstone, and then we spent a few days there, kind of just traveling through, seeing the mountains, camping a little bit here and there. We actually got in a situation where we had to stay in the truck. My whole family slept in the truck, so because we couldn't find a camping ground, because apparently everybody loves that part of Wyoming in the summertime. So, but yeah, it's an awesome state, man. I'm very jealous that you get to do that for sure. It's a long ways from home for us, but I would love to spend some time up there doing the whitetail thing for sure. So,
yes, it's awesome.
So how did your hunt pan out? From what I understand, it kind of ended up being kind of a 11th hour deal, I guess, right?
It was. We had about a week up there to hunt, and it came down to the last afternoon. We were going to have one more morning hunt if we needed it, but I went into it just telling myself that I was only going to shoot a mature buck. There's tons of deer there and lots of great bucks, but I wanted to make sure I was going to just shoot something mature, for my QDM, and then the rancher's QDM, just personal preference, I guess. I didn't want to do anything I wouldn't do here at home on his ranch. So
right.
We saw a lot of good bucks, and we were getting so close, literally every sit. We'd see shooter, mature buck, and just, one morning the big one came down to the water hole, with a big tree between us. I mean, had no shot at 25 yards there on the other side of the tree. And, he just walked straight down to it and straight away. And then other ones, they were just skirting us at like 60 yards. So, and they're pretty patternable, to a degree, but it wasn't like the same exact trail every night.
Right.
So it was kind of roll the dice, and we just weren't rolling lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, then we got on the last afternoon. The temperature really spiked back up. It was in the 70s the first few days, and then the last couple it really got up to about 90.
Oh wow!
And, so we sat on a water tank, and just had some good bucks come in, and then finally, kind of the last 30 minutes of light or whatever, had a nice mature buck come in with a lot of character. Like, heck yeah.
Yeah, no
Dude,
kidding.
He was awesome, man.
Yeah, heck yeah. It was a fun hunt, and just the way it panned out, it was cool, because I mean, we were constantly just kind of moving stands around and trying to figure them out, and that's what I love about whitetail hunting. I mean, it's a chess match, and who's going to win, so.
Yeah, and I was going to kind of ask you about that. When I think of Wyoming, I think kind of the western side of things, and it sounds like y'all go out there and hunt, if you can say it this way, Eastern style, right, where you're in stands and you're patterning deer, hunting morning and evenings. Is that what it all is, or do y'all do some of the spot and stalk kind of stuff out there on whitetail as well?
It is primarily blinds and stands for us. I mean, it is more like an Eastern hunt, but we do get out and, I mean, use the spotting scopes and glass and get up on those huge kind of mountainous tops and cliffs, and glass down in the bottoms, and then try to, figure out, hey, we need to go put a stand in this tree. And it is more like an Eastern hunt with a kind of a Western twist. But, it's a lot of fun. I mean, just the deer numbers and just that, I don't know, kind of kick off your season, getting in gear for hanging stands and moving stuff, and like we do in the Midwest so much. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how old do you think that buck was that you shot?
Man, we just judging with the history that the rancher had and everything, we were guessing right at 5.5. So
cool.
What we wanted to do was something at least 5.5, and I shot him. He came in with another buck, and he dwarfed that buck body size and everything. So it made it easy, and then just his headgear made it easy too.
Yeah, he was nice, man. So, I mean, is that when you say mature buck, is 5.5 mature, or is it 4.5? Or because I feel like a lot of people kind of have defined this, especially recently, differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna ever tell anybody, what they should and shouldn't shoot. To me, around here, I start seeing bucks peak, it seems like, and then kind of, I guess, wherever, it seems like that 5.5 to me is mature. I try to wait. Everybody has their own, concept to it and thoughts, and I'm not going to tell one guy, don't shoot that buck because he's too young or whatever. I mean, we all have our own management practices.
Sure.
But, I wanted to shoot something that was around 5.5 or older, and just a mature buck. And even if he didn't have the best headgear, and there was actually one that right before I shot that one that was coming in that was smaller, that was huge. I mean, I would have guessed him 6.5, and he just didn't come close enough. He hung up about 55 and just some tree limbs and stuff in the way, and my heart was pounding on him. And he was a smaller rack, but he was just a big mature buck,
dude.
And
it's crazy.
And that gets me going. So
oh yeah, dude. I'm telling you, like when I shoot a doe, it gets like that for me sometimes, man. Like I don't know. There's something about, like, I can sit there and watch does all day if I know I'm not going to pull a trigger. But as soon as, like, one's coming at me at like 30 yards and I know that I'm about to shoot this animal, it's like my heart is raging. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's what it's all about. I mean, you kind of get in that mode, and that's why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling.
Absolutely.
So what is it? Did he go very far, or was it just pretty clean and everybody just got around, hung out and did a pack out or whatever and had drinks and cheers afterwards? So
I shot him there like the last 30 minutes of light, and he was like slightly quartering too, but I knew he was just the way he was at the water tank, and he wasn't going to give me anything better. So I kind of tucked it on his shoulder there, trying to drill it back, and I didn't get an exit, and so he ran away like as fast as I've ever seen a deer run away. So we had good blood, but it was like spotty. And then, man, I tell you what, it was like the weirdest feeling. Once it got dark that night and we got out and started looking, there was like no moon, and it was just an eerie feeling in those tall pines.
Yeah.
Everything looked the exact same. So we looked for like, probably an hour and a half trying to find this blood and then we were watching the footage and trying to mark trees and find them in the dark where he ran by, and finally just like, we're just going to make this worse probably. And so we backed out until the morning, and where we had the last blood, where we got confused, we were going down a deer trail and we had it on that trail, and in the dark we were trying to continue down that trail. And what had happened was he ran across that trail. And so in the morning, it was no big deal. We found it and went right to him. And he went less than 300 yards and running as fast as I've ever seen a deer run away. So, no, it wasn't anything bad. But we did the smart thing and backed out. And it actually got down into like, the lower 50s that night. So,
nice.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. So what's next for you this year?
So I have my Kansas tag, and have some pretty good bucks on camera. I'm going to start hunting possibly this afternoon if the rain kind of lets up, and if not, for sure, just any day as much as I can. And then I also have a South Dakota an Indian reservation tag kind of in the back of my pocket if I get or fill my tag here in Kansas early, that's kind of a backup. I can run up there. It's not too far from here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have to convince people you're part Indian, or how'd you get that? I mean,
no, it's you just draw. I have a buddy up there that we go up and pheasant hunt with every year. He's not Indian, but one of his guides was. He's an Indian there, and so became good friends with him, and he talked me into putting in for it. And you just have to kind of have an in, I guess, with a native there.
Sure.
Part, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Cool, man.
So he's hooking me up. He's done some scouting and stuff, and kind of knows where to point us in the right direction if we make it up there.
Nice.
Hey, that'll be cool, man.
And you might already said this. That's a whitetail tag, or what is that?
It is, yeah. I put in for either species and drew whitetail, so
cool.
I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, awesome. Good luck with that, man, and I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us on the phone.
Yeah, thank you guys, and good luck drying out and getting back out this afternoon.
Yes, sir. I think it's going to happen. I felt my clothes before I came up here, and they were getting there. So
good deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, fellas.
Yeah. Thanks, Trent.
Have a good rest of your season.
Yeah, you too, man.
Brother. See ya.
We'll talk to you. Well, as every one of these does, man, I'm jacked up. And the good thing is, like, from this point on, like, as soon as we end this podcast, I'm in hunt mode again. And I'm actually have the opportunity to harvest a buck. So.
Yeah, I'm ready to go do that. We need to make that happen right now.
Yeah, I know. We need to. So, real quick before we go, was it last week?
Last week. It was like a week ago on the day, actually.
Yeah. We announced the winner of an Exodus Trek trail camera on the Luke Leahy Big Buck Breakdown. So, nobody's claimed it yet. And we getting ready to give it to somebody else new and put a smile on somebody else's face or a smirk. So, go listen to it if you haven't, and make sure that you didn't win that thing if you gave us a review on iTunes.
Yeah, remember we announced your name that you left on the iTunes review. So we may or may not know your actual name, but it's the handle that you use there.
That's right.
Make sure that you remember what you put there.
Yep, go check it out. And like I said, this won't last much longer, not much at all. So, and I am not going to last much longer if I don't get on the road and go kill me a buck.
Let's go find one.
All right, man. So, y'all, I hope y'all are getting out, man. It is prime time. It is the rut. This is an exciting time to be in the woods, man.
Yeah,
they are moving.
There's a cold front hitting this week, man. So go ahead and prepare your call-in sick speech.
That's right.
For Thursday and Friday, because it is going down.
That's right. So rehearse it, remember it, and also remember, this is your element.
Live in it.
Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay? Every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Art Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.